Peace, 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 everybody. I am just making sure you all can hear me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here today on this very special occasion to celebrate and to gather and to have ceremony. I am so grateful to be able to do this with you all today and extremely honored to live in a time where we're able to connect, even if we can't connect in person, right? Like the irony of it all. So thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to Soul Healing Satsang. This is an online event series that we're going to be doing every single Sunday until further notice here on the Rebuild Foundation page. So as it relates to today, today is a very, very special day. We are meeting today for a multitude of reasons, but one of the most important ones is today is Black Divinity Meditation Day. And for those of you who have never heard of Black Divinity Meditation Day or perhaps have never participated, today I want to be able to set you up so that you're able to do so from your home, in the comfort of your home, and really feel supported in the process. These Soul Healing Satsangs that I'm doing with Rebuild Foundation every Sunday are created and designed to give you a sense of support at home, to make sure that you are able to, in any way, continue your practices, continue the things that you would do live, and be able to do them at home in a way that really supports you and fortifies what it is that you may be experiencing and going through, and also be able to engage live where we have questions and we're able to talk to each other about what's important to us. So thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all, Rebuild Foundation, for hosting. I think this is going to be great. So for today, here's the agenda. We're just going to start by talking to you about the purpose of why we are gathered here. And then after that, I'll go into a short setup so that you can set up your space to join in on this meditation. And then at the end of the call, after we breathe and move just a little bit to get you set up, I want to make sure that I give you all great instruction so that as we move forward throughout the meditation, unplugged, you're able to still have that support, that you know what to expect and what to encounter. Now, I know some of you may be new meditators and some of you may be seasoned meditators. All the same, we are meeting today in our challenge to meditate for an hour. And in meditating for an hour, if you've never meditated for an hour, that's okay. Last year, we had some people who had never meditated before and stuck in there for the entire hour. So we're just challenging you today to do the same. So how we will start this is I'll start by just kind of giving you a short, and I do mean short, brief background, because I really want to get into it, about why we're meeting today and what the purpose of this is, so that you have an intention to set. And then from there, I'll go into setting you up, stretching, breathing, and then we'll depart off online to go into the meditation, and then we'll reconvene after we come out of the meditation, okay? So starting off, my name is Stacy Patrice. I'm here casting from Chicago with Rebuild Foundation. For the last 5 years to today, we have been meeting every Sunday from 1 to 3 in a space where we are in person, connecting with these yogic practices, breathing, chakra integration, meditation, yoga. And we've also been having great conversations or satsangs that start off our practice that really enable each of us to feel a sense of connectedness to who's in the room and who is feeling what and when and how those journeys can help to inform each other's journeys. So when we meet here on Sundays for Soul Healing Satsang, every Sunday, including today, what we'll be doing is starting our days off like that and talking about some of those topics that maybe we don't see covered in the media, maybe some of those practices that are not available, and we'll just kind of dig in really deep and be able to support each other in that way and engage here online. So first of all, thank you for joining. Thank you for taking on this challenge and being very excited about meditating today. And today is Black Divinity Meditation Day. It's a global holiday, and it started by Kamal Abayomi, who resides in Bali. What's happening, Kamal? And so Kamal had this vision during one of his meditations to gather us all together on one day a year and really emphasize the importance and the quality of all of us meditating in in unison, all of us coming together in solidarity and saying that meditation is important for our culture as well, as important as dancing, as important in doing all these other things. And so we are meeting to give each other that space. We are meeting to like literally hold each other's hands virtually across the world and be able to connect in meditation with each other. So what we are looking to do today is have an hour-long meditation. I am going to set you up the same way I would if we were in person so that you can have that meditation. And then what you all will do is in that setup space that we curate, you'll be able to go into your meditation for an hour. We'll reconvene online with the hashtags, with the posts, with sharing what our experience is. And I'll give you all the information in just a second. All right, so for starters, your meditation space, okay? So your meditation space is super, super important. Some of you already have a meditation space. Fine. Here's what I'll say, and I'm going to look at my notes really briefly to make sure that I give you everything you need for today. So what we're going to do first is we are starting by setting up the space that supports your meditation. So what that looks like is having a space where you don't have a lot of clutter, where things are pretty clean, and then using that space as a controlled space. So when I say using that space as a controlled space, what I'm really speaking to is the idea that you need to let people in your house know that you're about to meditate for an hour, okay? So if you haven't done this already, this is a super important step because people in your home are inclined to want your attention, are inclined to want to connect with you because we're all here together. So anyone in your home and anyone who normally calls you on your phone, you may want to float a quick text or step out of the room while I'm talking, take me with you if you need to, and just let people know, hey, I'm about to go into a meditation. So for like the next hour, 20 minutes or so, I'm gonna be isolated and I'll let you know when I come out, right? Just let people know. You may also want to find something to sit upon, okay? So in my instance, I have this cushion here that I like to sit on, and I have the cushion on top of my yoga mat so that I can stretch my legs out and, you know, do all these really cool things. But you also, for some of you who are not used to meditating, you may want to sit on some height or roll up a mat, roll up a pillow, roll up a blanket. If you have a cushion, use it. And you also may want to utilize your wall. If your spine is not typically straight, and you're not typically the type that can sit up straight for extended periods of time, there's no shame if you need to go and use the wall as a prop, just as long as once you use the wall, you are sitting up straight. The whole goal here is to support your posture so that you're in a position of comfort for the next hour while you're going to be meditating, so that you don't feel like you're interrupting your meditation, adjusting later. So those are the first two things that are really important, is your support and, you know, finding a space where you can be quiet and people will not interrupt you for the next several minutes of time. In addition to that, some of you may want a noise blocker. So if you live in a noisy house, a noisy neighborhood, or you're just prone to distraction from people walking around in the apartment upstairs or people next door making noise, you may want to just, you know, grab some earphones, some, you know, noise canceling earphones, some earphones that you wear like on the plane or when you go to concerts. And some of you might even want to stream some, you know, very light music into one of your devices to listen to while you are meditating. I know that in so many instances, we think about quiet as being the ultimate way to meditate. And I know that there are a lot of instances in which that is very uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be, you know, trauma. It can be, you know, just not being used to things being that quiet where it feels like something is wrong. So I want to encourage those of you who are not sure about being in complete and total quiet to use something to plug in that is going to actually help you to focus and to calm down. And there are lots of resources on sites like YouTube. If you can, whenever I'm teaching meditation, I always use music that does not have lyrics so that you're not really focused on what something is saying, but you're more focused on what the vibration is of the music you're listening to. So whether that's, you know, love vibration music, whatever you have that suits you best, or if you're fine with quiet, go with quiet. In addition to that, I like to block out light when I meditate. So I use the sleep mask, which is recommended by one of my friends, Omar Ra. What's happening, Omar Ra? This sleep mask is a Manta sleep mask. I am not being paid to promote it, but if you want to get it, Manta Sleep. And it is a mask that has eye cups. So when I put this mask on with my glasses off, of course, it literally blocks out the entire room. If you have blackout shades, if it's daytime where you are, or if there is fluorescent light around, you might want to just dim the lights, turn off the lights, and also put yourself in a position to be able to like really focus in. And sometimes blocking the light is excellent for that. So, you know, whatever it is that you use, you can use a blindfold, you can use a scarf, if that feels comfortable to you. If you want your eyes free, feel free to do that. In addition to that, I also recommend having like a sweater or a shawl or a blanket, something that you can kind of put over you that just really knocks the air off your shoulders, whether it's, you know, from some kind of, you know, vent or something. Just have something on that's nice and cozy. This would also include socks if you prefer, but just have something to kind of keep you comfortable so that you don't have to interrupt your meditation and go and grab something at spur of the moment, right? So that is something else. Also, for those of you who work with crystals or want to work with crystals, sometimes crystals can be very powerful allies in keeping us calm and keeping anxiety at bay, especially when you're doing something new and different and you haven't done it for a while. You might want to go ahead and grab crystals. For myself, I love having the selenite wand. This is a larger one, but it doesn't really matter the size of your wand or your crystal. As long as it has impact, intention, and meaning for you, it's perfect. So I like to use this because it helps me to feel really clear and I can hold on to it or sit it down while I'm meditating. Also, a really great crystal for meditators is amethyst. So here I have an amethyst cluster. If you want to just place this in your space and feel confident in doing that, you can do that as well. And then lastly, aromatherapy is also a really great thing to have. And some of you might just, you know, have a cup of tea brewing and the aroma from the herbs feels really, really, you know, comforting. You might want to take a couple of sips before we start just to kind of moisten your throat and your passages, because we will be breathing in a moment. And I want to make sure that you feel supported and don't feel dried out from the heat or wherever it is that you are in your, you know, whatever you're experiencing in your environment. And in addition to that, you want a timer, because we are going to go offline. You do want a timer. So your timer can be something on your phone. Like, you know, I legitimately use my iPhone and, you know, have this timer that I can just put on so that I am able to check my meditation. And so if you're not sure how, you can just go to your timer on your iPhone, and then right here for an hour, as soon as we decide to start, you hit the start button, and make sure you have a nice, chime that brings you out of meditation. You don't want anything disturbing like that timer. So you want to make sure you have a nice chime when the timer ends. And I use chimes for mine, which works out perfectly. So keep that nearby and make sure you turn off your devices to silent or to sleep mode, so that if you are getting a call, it just goes straight into voicemail, doesn't interrupt you. All right, so if you have any questions at any time while I'm talking before we start, go ahead and put those questions in the comments. I'll try and get to them before we end. And I just want to give a couple of mindful steps for this meditation. Mindful reminder, number one, stay in it. The most important thing to do is to stay in it, right? It doesn't really mean that we have a goal of staying in the meditation just for the sake of staying in it. The idea is really just having an intention that you decide to follow through on. So having an intention, not looking at it as a competition, but as a challenge. Like really having an intention to not only have today's practice, but in the future to have a regular practice that allows you to really go within. That is the mission of today, is to go within, spend the time with yourself to go within. And so we are all joining in that together. Your breathing is going to really allow you to return to your core, to your center. So do your best to use distractions to focus inward. If you ever get distracted and you feel like you want to know what's going on, just tap right back into your breath. And tapping into your breath is going to be, you know, something that will allow you to remind yourself to be present. I see a question. Do you have a recommended soundtrack? You know, actually, I have playlists upon playlists of soundtracks that I typically use. So I don't have any particular person in mind as a soundtrack, but I will say, if you go to YouTube, there are tons of meditations, and there's one station, I think it's called Calm. There's one station that does not have the interruptions and the commercials in the meditation. So if you can go to YouTube, you can queue up a meditation that goes an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, just to make sure that you're covered during this time. So I would say utilize YouTube or listen to jazz, which is always my favorite. You get into the jazz, you let the jazz do what it does. It starts moving things around for you. Next thing you know, you're in your space, you're happy, and the meditation is over. So jazz is always a really big proponent of meditation for me. And then you all want to make sure you use the bathroom first, right? It's like something I didn't think I would have to say, but it's super important, because if you're going to be sitting down for an hour and you're sipping on tea or water or what have you, it's very easy to have to interrupt your meditation to go to the restroom. So feel free to carry your device into the restroom and go make that happen. And then lastly, when you come out of meditation, make sure that you look down first in opening your eyes, and then slowly readjust to the light. Don't just pop out and open your eyes. Try and keep your phone near enough by that when the timer goes off, you can open, look down and hit the timer, and then slowly come back into the room. An hour is a long time. It's a deep dive for most people, which is why I'm going through these processes to like really help. But in addition to that, you want to move in a meditative way. You want to move more slowly, more surely, and bring yourself back into your waking, regular existence with mindfulness. All right. So any other questions? Let me just look and see if there are any other questions. I don't think I saw any others. I'm so happy you all are stoked to join. And lastly, yeah, if you have any other questions, you can go ahead and add them. But lastly, we are going to move and breathe really quickly, because I want you all to kind of warm up the body for what this is about. So if you are in a space where you have a little bit of foot room, I actually don't have a lot, but I am still going to do this here. Let's just start by wherever you're sitting, go ahead and stretch out. You guys are going to see my toes. Go ahead and stretch out your feet, right? So stretch your legs out, make sure your legs are nice and long. The goal here is to like really lengthen the legs first before we get into sitting, all right? So we're gonna start with your legs stretched out by just bringing your arms overhead, stretching the arms upward. And as you stretch the arms upward, take the palms to face each other, okay? So lower belly draws in, legs are long, feet are flexed, arms are overhead, and just start by breathing in through your nose. And exhale with soft sound over the back of your throat. Continuing in through your nose. Exhale with soft sound over the back of your throat. Do this a few more times while I'm talking. Take about maybe 4 or 5 more deep breaths, just like that. In through the nose and out through the nose with soft sound. And as you're doing so, I want you to slowly notice and feel how your body is calming, relaxing, or notice and feel if it's not, and take deeper inhales and release internally more deeply on your exhales. All right. From here on your next exhale, I want you to just start by reaching toward your toes. So hinge from your hips, reach toward your toes. Even if you cannot connect with your toes, go ahead and connect with your shins or ankles or any part of your body that feels really, really accessible. And make sure that you are extending your spine long so that you have the space in your spine to stretch forward. So start here with the stretching forward. If you can, point the crown of the head forward as you stretch, but continue here by just stretching your spine, breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your nose, softly. Now, some of you may be feeling like, man, this stretch is challenging. Good. That means that your hamstrings need you to incorporate this stretch on a more regular basis. So this is just a simple forward fold with an attachment. We are attaching, and you just want to make sure that the more that you do this, that you really breathe like you're breathing down into the earth for the stretch, okay? All right. From here, on your next inhale, slowly use your hands to walk your spine up straight. And as you walk your spine up straight, go ahead and fold your legs Coming back into your seated position. Once again, if you're sitting on height or what have you, come back into the seated position. From here, we're going to start by taking the arms overhead on an inhale. And as you exhale, twist to your right. You're going to take the left hand on the right knee and the right hand behind you and slowly twist the spine. Lower belly draws in as you twist. And if possible, start to look back toward your shoulder. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then slowly on your next inhale, bring the arms overhead again, spine to center. And as you exhale, twist to your left, right hand on left knee, left hand on fingertips behind you. Lower belly draws in as you twist. And if you can, look over your shoulder behind you. Wonderful. On your next inhale, just slowly untwist back to center. If you can, place your hands on your knees or your lap, and we're just simply going to roll the spine. So what this means is you're going to bring the spine in a circle. Take the spine around and in a circle. Really emphasize the stretch forward in the chest and the curl backward behind the heart. This movement is just kind of stirring the spine, preparing yourself for being able to sit still, or just kind of moving the energy and just continue to roll like this. And then reverse the circle, take it the opposite direction. For those of you who know how to body roll and do the snake, this is nothing. Just take the spine around in a circle. Make sure that you are rolling the spine slowly, noticing and feeling, breathing deeply. Wonderful. And then from here, you're going to start by just setting the shoulder blades flat on the back. You're going to slowly take your ear on the right side towards your right shoulder. We're not lifting up the shoulder. We're simply bringing the ear towards the shoulder, feeling the stretch on the left side of the neck. And just feel that stretch there just for a little bit. If you would prefer to support your head or support your neck, you can just feel the stretch with your right hand. But just kind of take your head over and keep the shoulder blades down. Couple of deep breaths here. Each time you inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale softly with the mouth closed. Continue breathing. If it's not perfect, no worries. It's perfect for today. All right, bring your head upright again. And next time when you exhale, take your left ear towards your left shoulder. It's just a lateral change of the neck direction. Breathe deeply. Once again, looking for that stretch on the right side this time. Wonderful. On your next inhale, slowly bring your neck upright. And as you are here upright, I want you to slowly just start to roll the shoulder heads. Take them together, roll them back. And each time you roll them back, I want you to feel them sit flat on your back, shoulder blades flat on the back. And then return rolling forward. Each time I want you to really stretch behind the heart. Wonderful. Beautiful. All right. Thank you all for sticking in here. So now that you are here, there's one more exercise, and I don't really have a space to demonstrate it, but one more exercise that you can do if you have the space is to get on hands and knees. And this is table posture, and it's to help your the articulation of your pelvis. So I'm going to demonstrate as I'm sitting here. And then for those of you that have the space, get on hands and knees. Your shoulder will align over your wrists. Your hips will align over your knees so that your knees are bent and your feet are flat behind you and your back is like a table. If you have that, go ahead and go into that posture. If you don't have the space to go on the table, what you can do is you can follow with me as I cue, just making note of your pelvis position. And this is important because you're going to be sitting and those hip flexors get really stuck when we're sitting. So we want to just kind of open up the spinal energy between the hips and the rest of the body. So what we're doing is, if you are on hands and knees, on your inhale, you tilt the pelvis forward, meaning toward the floor. So the pelvis tilts forward, which makes a nice arch in your back as the pelvis tilts forward. Your chest opens and your neck is long. And as you exhale, you tilt the pelvis backwards. So like drawing the lower belly in, you hump at the top of the back and you drop your head down, right? So again, on inhale, tilt forward, lengthen, extend, pelvis tilts forward. And on your exhale, press down into the ground, tilt the pelvis back, make the hump in the spine, drop the neck. Those two postures are your inhale and exhale. So as I'm talking, continue tilting forward in your inhale, tilting, pressing away and back in your exhale. If you are sitting and you're like, I'm not on hands and knees, on your inhale, simply tilt the pelvis forward, open the chest, take the head like this. And as you exhale, tilt the pelvis backward, curl the top of the back, drop the head like this. These two motions, no matter where you are, just kind of open up on the first and kind of pull and press, curl away on the second. And do this a few more rounds, maybe 4 or 5 sets of inhale and exhale. Wonderful. All right. Now, once you are done with those 5 breaths, I usually have my students go right into downward facing dog. If you feel like you want to pull away from the mat and stretch and go into down dog, feel free to do so. If you do not feel like you want to go into down dog, I highly suggest going into child's pose. And for child's pose, what this simply is, I'm going to see if I can do it here by my mat. You simply come onto out of table on hands and knees and press your hips back. Take your arms forward and bring your forehead to the mat if you can. And you just rest here for several deep breaths, but you don't stop breathing deeply. So keep taking that deep inhale and exhale in your child's pose. Each exhale, feel like you're letting it all slip away, letting it all go. Deep inhale. Exhale. Take about 5 or 6 more rounds of inhale and exhale. I'll be right here when you come out. As you slowly start to come out of your child's pose, you're looking for your seated position once again. And in that seated position, start to determine what your intention is for today's meditation. What is it that you intend by spending this hour in meditation? Very important step. So many times we get to a place in meditation where we are just sitting because we are asked to sit. I want each of you to think about what you're sitting for, why you're sitting, what this meditation can do for you today. And I want you to use the words I am in front of that intention to place yourself inside of that intention. So your I am statement is affirming something very powerful, very necessary, and very sacred and intimate to you. You may want to dedicate your I am intention to being of better purpose on this planet, being a better steward for your community, being more mindful, more aware, less fearful, but saying it in the affirmative. I am positive, pure energy. I am light. Or if that's too fluffy, you can get deeper and say, I am calm and present during this time. Something that really feels good for you. Okay. And just take a moment to set that if you haven't already. Wonderful. So what we're going to do now, you have your space set up. You have this opportunity here to let anyone know that you need to know what you're going to be doing for the next hour. You have your timer hopefully nearby. And you also have the support of the entire community around the world who are meditating today. And this may not be your first meditation day. It might be your second, or you might be your first, and you may meditate again. So there's no pressure here. If you can do at least 30 minutes, you are doing powerful work and connecting with the mission for today. If you do under 30 minutes, you're still doing powerful work. But see if you can challenge yourself for that hour. And so we're about to go offline. I just wanted to help you all get set up and have everything that you need. I see a comment from Mel. Hey, Mel. Last year we did different types of meditation. What were they? So for today, what I am suggesting is that you can either do a meditation with light music, like I mentioned earlier, in your earphones, or you can do a meditation to complete silence with the eyes closed, maybe with a sleep mask on or some other kind of obstruction of light. You can also do a meditation that is, just simply breathing or chanting, which some people do. But choose something that will allow you to be present, right? So don't choose anything that will further distract you, and make sure that even if you are not sure if you can do an hour, that you set a timer and intention to do so, and just keep your eyes closed until you hear it. Just breathe, be present, watch your thoughts, observe your thoughts like clouds passing through the sky. Give yourself an opportunity to really hear how you're breathing, to really see in your heart how you feel. And again, whether you're holding your crystals or have your left hand placed on your heart and right hand placed on your belly, or vice versa, just really give yourself an opportunity to relax and to be still. This is an hour. This is luxury, right? We think about these things as being so common, but a lot of us don't meditate and don't have an hour, we feel, in a day to actually practice. So use this Soul Healing Sunday and this Soul Healing Satsang as inspiration to take an hour to give yourself this time that you can use to charge up before this week ahead, which we have no idea what it will hold, but seize the moment. Go in meditation. And when you come back online after an hour, not necessarily in this live, but let's come back online. When we come back online, take a selfie. It doesn't have to be a selfie of you pretending to meditate. It could be just a selfie of, what you look like after meditation. Take that moment to share your experience so that other people who are nervous to meditate and what have you see that there are people doing it. And be that person that reminds people that it's possible. Be that person that can share a testimony or a story and can really say what it is that this meditation has done for you. So I want you all to answer one question for me when you come back online, and I'll make a post that will do this as well. So my question for each of you is, and I wrote it down earlier, what do I know about myself now that I didn't know an hour ago? If you can answer that after your meditation, that would be beautiful. Of course, you're going to hashtag Black Divinity Meditation, hashtag Black People Meditating, hashtag Soul Healing Satsang. And you can add me, Soul Yogini SP. You can add Rebuild_Foundation. And if you like, you can also add Black Divinity Meditation. If you're not even sure of those hashtags and names, I'll make a post to kind of kick it off, and you all can, mimic the hashtags in my post. But give yourself this hour, give yourself an opportunity to go in. The idea is to access the divine part of yourself through being still. And I'm so grateful for you all being here, and I cannot wait to see what it is that you find. So let's get ready. If you have to use the restroom and you haven't, go for it. If you need tissue nearby, grab it. If you need your mask, do it. Otherwise, let's go into meditation, come back in an hour. It's about 1:35 Central Standard Time. So we're talking about 2:35 Central Standard Time. Let's get back online with our testimonials. After we come out of meditation, get some water, nourish ourselves, and let's show the world what's possible. We all get together and unify. Thank you all so very much. I think this is going to be awesome. You are completely prepared for what's ahead. 1 hour, you guys. Set the timer. Make sure it's pleasant when you come out. Look down first as you come out, and then look up. And I'll see you all back on Instagram in an hour. So much. See you later.